Cresthaven's skyline glittered with ambition, but in the gritty East Side district, Marcus Tate fought to preserve his world. A black mechanic in his late 30s, Marcus ran Tate's Repairs, a small auto shop his father built in the 1970s. It was more than a business. It was a legacy of sweat and defiance in a city where wealth and whiteness held the keys to power. The shop's faded sign stood stubborn against the encroaching glass towers of gentrification. Each dawn, Marcus arrived in grease-stained overalls, his hands steady from years of wrenching engines, his eyes sharp with quiet resolve. But the air had grown heavy. The Cresthaven elite, a real estate juggernaut led by the calculating Vincent Hargrove, wanted East Side for luxury condos. Marcus's shop was a thorn in their side, and they'd been tightening the screws. Anonymous complaints to city inspectors, sudden tax hikes, and whispers of eminent domain. Marcus saw the truth. A black man owning prime land was an insult to their vision of Cresthaven. One humid morning, a black SUV rolled into the shop's gravel lot, dust swirling. Vincent Hargrove stepped out, silver hair gleaming, his tailored suit screaming privilege. Flanked by two men in dark sunglasses, he smirked. "Mr. Tate," he said, voice slick with condescension, "this shop's a fossil. Sell now and you might keep some dignity. Refuse and we'll bury you." Marcus wiped his hands on a rag, meeting Hargrove's gaze. "My father built this with nothing but grit. It's not going anywhere." Hargrove's smirk tightened. "You'll beg to sell soon enough." That evening, Marcus found a notice taped to the shop's door. A city order citing code violations, demanding $15,000 in repairs. The claims, faulty wiring, structural issues, were flimsy, but fighting them would drain his savings. He stood under a flickering street lamp, the paper trembling in his hands. His daughter, Aisha, 16, and fierce like her late mother, Nia, read it over his shoulder. "They're targeting us because we're black and won't break," she said, her voice sharp. Marcus nodded, jaw tight. "They'll have to try harder." Aisha's eyes, bright with her mother's fire, softened. "Mom would have fought. We will too." Nia's memory stung. She'd been a community organizer, rallying East Side until cancer took her 2 years ago. Marcus felt her absence, but Aisha's resolve steadied him. They'd fight, for Nia, for the shop, for their place in this city. As he locked up, headlights pierced the dusk. An unmarked tow truck idled, its driver hidden. Before Marcus could react, it hooked his delivery van, the shop's lifeline for parts, and sped off. Aisha filmed the license plate, her hands steady despite her fury. This wasn't just theft, it was war. Morning light revealed the empty lot where Marcus's van once stood, tire tracks scarring the gravel. Aisha was already filming, her voice cutting through the stillness. "This is what they do to black businesses," she said into her phone. "Steal from us, lie about us, expect us to quit. We won't." She posted it to X, tagging Cresthaven Elite and the mayor, her hashtags sharp. Justice for Tate. Stop corporate racism. Marcus called the police, but Officer Connors, a stocky man with a dismissive shrug, barely glanced at the lot. "No report, no proof," he said, his badge glinting like a prop. Marcus recognized him from Hargrove's gala photos. The system was rigged, and Connors was a cog in it. At the shop, Jamal, Marcus's best friend and an electrician with a quick laugh, helped tally the damage. Without the van, parts couldn't be picked up. Without parts, repairs stalled. Customers would leave, and the shop would bleed out. "This is how they choke you," Jamal said, shaking his head. "Make it impossible to breathe." Marcus spent hours at City Hall, navigating a maze of bureaucracy to contest the violations. The clerk, a young white woman with a tight smile, handed back his paperwork. "Incomplete," she said, though he'd triple-checked every form. Each rejection was a calculated blow, meant to wear him down. He kept his composure, knowing they wanted him to snap. That evening, Aisha showed him her X post. It had exploded, 10,000 views, hundreds of shares, comments raging against Cresthaven elite. "People see us, Dad," she said, her eyes bright. "We're not alone." But the next morning, a letter from the bank hit like a punch. His business loan was called in early, due in 30 days. Marcus's savings were thin, stretched from years of keeping the shop afloat. He sat in his office, surrounded by his father's tools and Nia's framed photo, the walls closing in. Aisha found him, her phone buzzing with notifications. "We've got allies, Dad," she said. "People are organizing. We can fight." Marcus looked at her, her fire reigniting his. "Then we fight," he said, voice low but unyielding. Glass crunched under Marcus's boots as he swept the wreckage. Aisha stayed, filming every shard. "This is evidence," she said, her voice trembling with anger. Marcus wanted to send her home, to shield her, but she was too much like Nia, stubborn, a fighter. He couldn't clip her wings. Jamal brought a lead from X. Elena Cruz, a former Cresthaven elite employee, had messaged Aisha. She claimed to have dirt on Hargrove. Marcus met Elena at a diner on Cresthaven's outskirts, its neon sign flickering in the rain. Elena, a Latina woman in her 40s, looked nervous, sliding a USB drive across the table. "Emails," she whispered. "Hargrove's been bribing city officials to target black-owned businesses. Your shop's one of many." Marcus's pulse raced. The USB was a weapon, but dangerous. "Why risk this?" he asked. Elena's eyes were haunted. "I saw him ruin families, good people. I can't stay silent." At the shop, Marcus and Aisha pored over the emails. They detailed payoffs to inspectors, forged violation reports, and a plan to seize East Side for luxury condos. Hargrove's name was everywhere, his arrogance in every line. But using the evidence meant exposing Elena and inviting retaliation. Aisha's X posts were going viral, drawing support from activists led by Keisha, a fiery organizer with a megaphone and a mission. She rallied dozens outside the shop, their signs reading, "Save Tate's repairs," and "No more corporate greed." Their chants shook East Side, a pulse of defiance. Marcus felt hope, but Hargrove struck back. A new city ordinance surfaced, rezoning his lot for commercial development, giving him 60 days to vacate. That night, Marcus stood in the shop, staring at a 1974 photo of his father with the shop's first customer. The weight of legacy pressed on him, but so did fear. How much could he ask of Aisha, of Elena, of himself? Cliffhanger. Late at night, Marcus hears footsteps outside. He grabs a wrench, heart pounding, and steps into the dark. A figure emerges. Friend or foe? The figure was Keisha, breathless, clutching flyers. "We're planning a protest at City Hall," she said, rain dripping from her jacket. "Your story's waking people up." Marcus lowered the wrench, her urgency sparking hope. But the stakes were climbing. The next morning, 2 men in suits delivered a cease-and-desist letter, accusing Aisha of defamation for her X posts. Hargrove was trying to silence her. Marcus felt a surge of protectiveness, but Aisha was defiant. "They're scared," she said, eyes blazing. "We're winning." Marcus hired Lorraine Carter, a black lawyer known for battling corporate giants. Lorraine reviewed Elena's emails and grinned. "This is dynamite," she said, "but we need more to bury Hargrove." She proposed a lawsuit against Cresthaven elite for discriminatory practices, using the emails as evidence. It was risky. Hargrove's influence was vast, but Marcus agreed. He'd come too far to quit. The City Hall protest drew hundreds. Aisha took the megaphone, her voice soaring. "They think they can erase us, but we're here, and we're loud. This isn't just about my dad's shop. It's about every black family they pushed out." Marcus watched, pride warring with fear. Hargrove's men were there, filming faces, taking names, their presence a silent threat. That night, Marcus got a call from Elena. Her voice was panicked. "They know I talked. They're coming for me." The line went dead. Marcus grabbed his keys, his mind racing. At Elena's apartment, the door was ajar. The place was trashed, furniture overturned, papers shredded. A note was pinned to the wall. "Stop now, or you're next." Marcus's stomach churned. Elena was gone. The video of Elena, her terrified eyes, her muffled cries, looped in Marcus's mind. He wanted to tear Cresthaven apart to find her, but he forced himself to focus. Aisha was waiting at home, and he couldn't let her see his fear. She was already carrying too much. Lorraine called an emergency meeting. "This video is evidence," she said, her voice steel. "Hargrove's desperate. We can't let him win." She urged Marcus to push the lawsuit, but the risks were crushing. Elena's life, Aisha's safety, the shop. Everything hung in the balance. Aisha uncovered a lead on X, a whistleblower claiming Hargrove had ties to Judge Harlan, who could bury their case. Marcus and Lorraine met the whistleblower, Mr. Evans, a retired court clerk, in a dimly lit coffee shop. Evans confirmed Harlan's corruption. "He's been in Hargrove's pocket for years," he said, hands trembling. "Exposing him could tank your case, or worse." Marcus felt the walls closing in. Hargrove didn't just play dirty, he owned the game. The pressure hit Aisha, too. Her school suspended her, citing her disruptive activism. She came home, eyes red but defiant. "They want me quiet, Dad," she said. "I'm fighting for us." Marcus hugged her, his heart breaking. She was too young for this war, but she was a soldier. The bank sent a final notice: pay the loan in 10 days or lose the shop. Aisha's X campaign had sparked a movement, with Boss Justice for Tate trending globally, but retweets couldn't pay the bills. Marcus stood in the shop, surrounded by his father's tools, Nia's memory, and Aisha's courage. He couldn't quit. The photo of Aisha burned into Marcus's mind. He wanted to hide her, to flee, but her voice cut through his fear. "They want us scared, Dad," she said, eyes fierce. "If we run, they win. We fight harder." Her words echoed Nia's, and Marcus knew she was right. This was about every black family targeted, every voice silenced. Lorraine devised a plan: use Elena's video to pressure the police, file the lawsuit, and expose Judge Harlan. It was a gamble, but Marcus was all in. He sent Aisha to stay with Jamal's family, out of Hargrove's reach, and met Keisha to rally the community. Protests swelled, thousands chanting "Justice for Tate," their signs a wall of defiance. In court, Lorraine was relentless. She presented Elena's emails, linking Hargrove to bribes, forged documents, and the van theft. Mr. Evans testified about Judge Harlan's ties, forcing Harlan to recuse himself. A new judge, known for fairness, took over. Lorraine played Elena's video, her cries silencing the room. Hargrove took the stand, his charm crumbling under Lorraine's cross-examination. She revealed bank records showing he'd paid the tow company and bribed inspectors. His empire unraveled. Outside, Aisha's X campaign trended globally, drawing national media. The shop became a symbol of resistance. The verdict came: Cresthaven elite was guilty, ordered to pay $10 million. The rezoning ordinance was revoked, and Marcus's shop was safe. Hargrove faced criminal charges, his skyscrapers now ruins. Elena was found alive, freed after a tip led police to a warehouse owned by Hargrove's associate. She hugged Marcus, tears streaming. "You gave us a voice," she whispered. Marcus stood outside his shop, Aisha at his side as supporters cheered. The fight had nearly broken him, but he'd won. His father's legacy stood tall, a beacon for every underdog. Aisha squeezed his hand. "Mom would be proud." Marcus nodded, feeling Nia's spirit in the breeze. Moral lesson: equality is a battle, not a gift. Resilience, truth, and community can topple the mightiest oppressors. Never stop fighting for what's right.